So this is not a project you need to worry about. So if you've never seen this before, don't panic. This is actually from a different class that I put together, and it is a game. It works. It's not great, but it is a game, and it does work. And I'm not going to even worry about that. Okay, so I play tested. My game is great. Now, my instructor has asked me to submit the package for the scene that I've built and a build, right? Now, there's a big difference between the two. The bigger arcing theme is that builds are for players, period. They are to get people to play your game. Now, usually a build like this is shared among devs, sure, or built and sent to, maybe sometimes you give them to press, or you're doing an event and you need something for players to play for play tests, or you're sending them internally for play tests, usually at this stage, right? So a build is what I'm often asking for so that I can play your creation, okay? So that's what a build is. So let's start with what to do. On the top left corner, you'll see File, go down to Build Settings, and then you see this guy, right? You see this little Build Settings dialog box? I'm hoping everything's all right. You can see it. Then you'll want to select what you're building for, all right? And Mac, PC, Linux is a good place to go. Okay, but you'll notice the first thing you have here is no scene. So we definitely want the scene that I currently have here. We're going to add scene. Build. When you click build, this is where it gets tricky. Do not put your build in your project somewhere here. Don't do that. Don't do that. Get out completely, actually, because builds have nothing to do with the project itself. So in this case, we're going to call this first name, last name, underscore, assignment, name, build. Boop. Okay. And that's the folder we're selecting. Ta-da. And it should be thinking now. Unity should be chooching. It's doing its thing. It's thinking hard. Doing its thing. Hi, Newton. Hi, Lisa. Happy to see you. I'm reviewing how to do a build, and Unity's doing it for me now. Okay. Thinking. Okay, so it looks like it popped up. And now you should see something like this. You should definitely have a data file folder, bleeding edge folder, the exe itself, a crash handler, and the Unity DDL. Sometimes there's more, and that's okay if there's more. It might just mean that there are bugs and it needs to handle it, so don't worry about that, okay? So now, if I double click this, I should be able to play test. And voila, I've got a build. Okay, so what you do at this point is I want you to kind of come back out to the file name and then zip this, and then that zip or RAR or whatever you prefer to use is your build submission. So zip build, okay? Do you have any questions so far? Okay, I'm gonna guess not. All right, so let's head back over. Sorry, I meant to actually change the screen share. Let's head back over to Unity, and we're gonna talk about doing a package now. Now, I had half of you this last assignment, which is weird because this hasn't happened before. For your packages that you submitted, I just got scene files. That's all I got, meaning I couldn't even look at the edited folder or the edited content that you were using and building with if your build wasn't working. So like I had to automatically fail like 3 people in this last assignment, and that's heartbreaking because I know you all know how to do this part. So at least it's been okay in the past. So I'm gonna go over it one more time. just to make sure that we're not confusing it with something else. And I think that if we're not doing this all the time, it's really easy to just kind of like forget and lose it. Okay. So do you remember when you pulled in the asset store, like a controller or something, you got a dialog box with a hierarchy of basically all this content that was going to be going into your project? Well, that is essentially a Unity package. Unity packages are sort of like proprietary, Unity specific zip files and folders. And sometimes they're just a single file, that's true, but sometimes they're folders within folders next to files and other texture things, and we need all of that, okay? So what I've recommended to do when you have created a scene, and in this case, it's my Grand Theft Turismo kart scene, right? This thing. What you do is if you right click on the scene and go to export package, you'll see this guy. Make sure all of this is selected, because what it's doing is saying in this scene, we are using all of this in the package, or all of this in the project, all of it. And by exporting it, I am creating like a zip folder, basically, that I can import into my Unity editor and see all of the things that you've used, and I can see your scene. I can possibly edit it, right? So a package is for developers when you're collaborating with them, okay? A build is for players, and that's functionally the difference between the two and why we need to be careful with that. So we're gonna go ahead and name this package, and we'll call it first name, last name, assignment name package. And we'll just do that and let it think. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop screen sharing real quick, because what I'm doing is I'm actually closing out Unity altogether. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Unity again, but it's going to be naked. It's going to be totally empty, no clothes on, nothing, just Unity. That's it. Okay. And I've got an empty scene project already that'll work just fine for your reviews. Okay. Okay. Coming back to my screen share, okay? Back over to Unity. This is properly empty. There's nothing here, nothing in my assets, nothing. That's just standard stuff, nothing. Okay. So I made a package a minute ago. If I right click and I import package, custom package, and I bring in what was exported to give to me for your assignment, oh, look at all that. Yes, please import all of that. If I'm unsure, I'm going to click that all button, give that a second, and then watch what happens to my asset folder over here on the left when I'm importing it. Boom. Everything that I needed that you had used. That's perfect. There it is. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Oh, and look at that. Can I play it? Can I play it? Please tell me I can play it. Look at that. I can play it just as you had edited. And what's great about this is that I can actually go in here and see how you had your scene set up, so that I can make sure that you have maybe named, you know, Mr. MacGuffin, and you've designated this particular group of blocks as being the knowledge room, right? These are things that I need to grade, right? So you have to give me a package. Now here's what you cannot do. Do not ever, 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 unless I ask for it specifically, give me your whole project. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Always give me a package of the content that you've been working on and that you've needed. And if you're stuck, reach out to me and I will help you walk you through that package process again. All right.